Yeah, yeah, yeah. Come on. What I'm talking about. Says we all do better when we all do better. You can't get better than that. Yeah, we all do better when we all do better. You can't get better than that. I said we all do better when we all do better. You can't get better than that. Yeah, we all do better when we all do better. You can't get better than that. Says we all do better when we all do better. You can't get better than that. Say we all do better when we all do better. You can't get better than that. Come on. I said we all do better when we all do better. You can't get better than that. We all do better when we all do better. You can't get better than that. We all do better when we all do better. You can't get better than that. Come on, y'all.
Man, that ain't no crime. And that ain't no crime.
What's happening?
Wagwan, bad boys and girls. How y'all is? I'm over here spilling coffee. What's up with y'all?
Well,
Chilling with the genetic, with the molecular formula of caffeine on the mug.
oh,
My ugly mug. Your man, our son, the voice of reason, holding it down. Gangstagrass in the joint. You're getting it in. By the way, I want to send a super duper shout out to Ranchhoss for sending me all the birthday goodies this week. That made me very happy, dude. All the little, the groovy little gifts and stuff. Gifts?
Oh.
Gifts?
Yeah, the guy that created the format of GIF is claiming that it's pronounced GIF, and that's just wrong. There's a point where I think you can tell the creator of something, no.
I prefer Geifs myself.
it's
Just to mess with everybody. I like to go with Geifs and then keep it moving from there. But yeah, thank you, and thank you for everybody that sent me some love this week. 4 dozen years old this week. 40.
Yeah, happy birthday, our son.
Explaining the fact, by the way, 48 is dope, like it's 4 dozen, and 49 is dope for 7 squared. You know what I mean? You do the mathematics, 7 squared, it's blah 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 blah. This, that, and the third. 47 is the wackest number in math.
Why? It's a prime. What's wrong with 47?
Yeah, but that's it. Like, it's got nothing going for it besides the biggest prime. That's it. And it's it. And there's lots of other primes.
We are ready for a math fight. 47, good or bad? Go.
I will defend every prime.
Once and for all.
Except for 2. You can't defend 2, but I'll defend every other prime.
Actually, no, I'm kidding because my man, shout out to my man Val. He was my man Cam. Actually, he was like, "Yo, but 47 Ronin."
Mhm.
Oh, okay. So, nah, it's cool though, man. We just out here acting a fool. Also, shout out to American Hooligan. Look at that, oh. Takes us a little bit of niceness.
Mhm.
T-shirt is lovely too. You know, it was funny. We was talking the other day about, you know, just this whole thing and whatnot. And I want to shout out all of our fans and stuff. I don't know if y'all remember a couple weeks back, a couple months ago back, I was doing my joint on Tuesday night and nobody could hear me for like 20 minutes.
Yeah, I heard about
And
that.
they hung out with me. They was like, yo, I'm sitting there like, I don't know what's going on. And they hung out with me. And like a good 20 people just watched me act a fool trying to figure out my computer. So shout out to everybody that's hanging out with us now. Shout out to who's on with us tonight? Who we got here? Some folks and some folks here. I got a few folks over here chilling with us on the tube of you. Oh God, goodness gracious, shut up. My Jones are still making noise when I bring them up to get the questions and stuff. It's just loud. Tay Smith is joining us. Dave Kerr, what's up? Mike W, what's going on? Mike W's already got a question. The popular video that is barn burning that has Melody Allegra, was she a fill-in for the video? No. She was actually with the band for a minute. Rocked out with us. You know, I mean, did her thing. She's still doing her thing now. Faye Smith, we're not ignoring you. I swear to God, I'm just late. You know what I mean, bringing up the Jones and such and so's. But yeah, we getting in. See, Faye Smith said that we should have won. Gangstagrass AGT winners 2021. She said that, not me.
Well, as far as I'm concerned, we did.
It was a
We won
win,
the hearts and minds of America.
and it was a win for us. And coming out of it with all these awesome new people that are saying, "What's up?" So what's up?
Right.
Awesome
That
new
is
people.
right.
New speakers. Hey, Sleeps, what time is our guest joining us? And I have a hard time calling Shanti a guest because that's my ace from 1,000 years ago. We go back before all of this, way before all of this. Mop on my head. So I mean, I know that the great the one Shanti, producer extraordinaire, hip hop lyricist, world traveler, the official India Bambaataa, like that.
And that's official because
that's official. That's
Africa
Zulu Nation
Bambaataa
official.
specifically said you are
That
the
is
Indian
Zulu
Bambaataa.
Nation official.
That's real.
Shout out to the Zulu Nation. That is official. My man India Bam is in the joint tonight with us. So yeah, we up in here kicking it, doing our thing.
Yep. Brooklyn Shanti, who brought hip hop to India, among other things. And, fun fact, first person to put our son, the voice of reason, on wax back in 1999.
God.
Yeah. Yeah. So
It was the year 1999.
the turn of the century. He will be here in about 15 minutes. So very, very, very excited to see Shanti. What a great person. And he's had such a diverse and interesting career, right? Not only not only is he the guy who brought hip hop to India, not only is he the Indian Bambaataa, he project manages, he works with corporate clients, he has created a whole new genre, essentially, just like Gangstagrass has done. So it's really, really, really exciting. He's gotten a lot of accolades, Rolling Stone and the Times of India and Entertainment Weekly. Entertainment Weekly said he's on an ambitious quest to unite hip-hop, dance music, and a patchwork of styles from across the globe. So far, he's doing a bang-up job. That's Entertainment Weekly, not me. Yeah, but I'm excited to get a bunch of stories from Shanti about back in the day, about being in central Pennsylvania with young our son, the voice of reason.
You don't even remember half that stuff because I was the sober one. Yeah. Let me stop.
Well,
man,
you get a lot of credit for that.
What's going on with y'all? I know Wrench is over here doing work. I know he's doing work.
What do you mean?
But Wrench is this quiet. The wheels are spinning.
The wheels are definitely spinning.
There's stuff happening in that brain. I know that.
There's definitely gears grinding right now.
Look. Yeah, man, we're here chilling. It's another Friday night with all of our good friends. Like I said, I'm a little bit behind on the. Mike's got a question for you, Mike W. on YouTube's got a question. Dolio, you selling Pepsi Cola gear?
Yes. You can get them at PepsiCola.com.
There you go. PepsiCola.com.
And I recently relocated my print shop, so that is actually now going to be printed in Pensacola.
Nice. That's dope. That's very dope.
But yeah, you can get it at PepsiCola.com. We kind of back order right now because we got hit pretty hard with the last batch. A lot of folks bought them, but we will have the next run up soon. And the white and gold and the black and gold.
Heard. Do we have a lead show on the UK schedule?
What do you mean a lead show?
Leeds.
Oh.
Leeds. Like that Leeds in the UK. Is that on the schedule?
I think that might be one that dropped off.
Oh no!
I might be wrong. I'm gonna actually have to go into the calendar and check that. Oh hey!
Boom.
Thank you for resubscribing, Splodgix. We are enjoying hanging out with you.
Splodgix.
Okay. Did you see this question from Hey Tommy P? Wrench, would you consider releasing a chord/music book for musicians like me who want to jam along while listening to our favorite Gangstagrass songs?
No.
What am I doing?
Say more about that, Wrench.
No, I thought that would be a funny response. Yeah, I would love to hit the point where there's enough demand that we can release a Gangstagrass chord book for all of the people out there at jams wanting to play Gangstagrass songs. That would be awesome.
What time is it?
9:16 Eastern.
How long are we going tonight?
That's a good question. I think as long
honestly,
as
it depends
Shanti
on how long
with
Shanti. Yeah, how long we're talking with Shanti.
Basically.
You keep him long enough, I'll have it done.
He's a talker. Oh shit!
Was there a particular song request? It's not me. Like we just wanted the catalog.
Yeah, I mean, we should probably do it by album. Like I could bang out. Certainly, I could bang out "No Time for Enemies" tonight.
Yeah, but are you going to get it printed with a nice cover?
Yeah.
And ship it? Okay,
Yeah, I'll
cool.
send it to Staples. What's your address?
There you go. Ask and you shall receive.
There you go.
That is definitely the kind of thing. I mean, if that's something that's easy for you to do, that's absolutely the kind of thing that we could put out for the Barnstormers, quite quickly. They already have the pass through to the behind the scenes of Gangstagrass, so it'd be, before we even like print it out, just to have a version you can download, we could absolutely give that to the Barnstormers.
Oh wait, does that mean we got to do a lyric book too to go with it?
Aren't all the lyrics on Genius?
Yeah,
they're on Genius.
Yeah, they're on Genius. And I think, I know other ones for No Time for Enemies and American Music and Appalachia are in there.
Yeah, did we do Broken Hearts, Stolen Money, or all those?
Most of the lyrics are on there.
Okay.
Some of them haven't been transcribed. I took the liberty of going in there to correct what people put up. Because
Shout out to
I realized, yeah, 'cause I often rap in my real accent, and that confuses people with the words sometimes.
Incorrect lyrics are my favorite thing in the world.
What was that one about a turtle? That's infertile.
I was the one in bird. Yeah.
It says like about a turtle making it infertile.
Making it infertile. Like what? Like, I don't even know if that's a thing. I mean, I imagine it must be a thing that you can do.
Yeah, and I think it wasn't. What was that in Memphis that we had the TV experience, whatever, and they ended up like bleeping out some of the words that I said, but the word that they bleeped out was fraction.
Fraction.
Yes, it was fraction because you and your dirty mouth.
Oh,
You and your dirty mouth talking about those fractions.
Yeah.
I really do wonder what they thought
Filth.
you said. I mean, who knows? Math is very controversial these days.
Yeah, for the record, if anybody is out there transcribing or wanting to censor Dolio's lyrics, I've only said maybe, I think, 2 curse words in all of the Gangstagrass catalog. And that is in 2 isolated incidents. I said the word shit and I said the word ass. And I think they're both in the same song.
Wait, which song is that?
They keep talking.
Yeah, keep talking.
Yeah, remember the line where he's like, shit ass?
Yes, Space Smith, infertile turtles.
By the way,
Genius is a website. It's just genius.com, right?
Yeah, genius.com.
Yeah, genius.com. And if you put our name in there, it'll bring up all of our lyrics and stuff. You can find all the songs and all the song lyrics in there. So there you go, genius.com.
And to return to an earlier question that you asked, our son, Leeds is June 21st, 2022.
There you go.
At the Belgrave Music Hall and Canteen.
Belgrave Music Hall.
Belgrave.
I'm not doing a show with the Suicide Squad. No.
What?
No. That's for the nerds out there that are up on their Suicide Squad.
No.
That's the name of the prison. Suicide Squad.
And for Ifakunle, thank you very much. Appreciate that.
Tommy P said he heard signed, sealed, delivered. Thought he was Stevie Wonder song, signed, sealed, delivered. Thought he was saying sons to the limit. You know, sons to the limit, I'm yours.
Do you want to talk about their best misheard lyrics growing up?
Wait a minute. My wife is here. She's I'm talking about misheard lyrics.
Misheard lyrics?
Yeah, lyrics that you've misheard that might.
Oh.
She has a very amusing one.
You've got
All right, so you remember the song by Joe Public, "You've Got to Live and Learn"?
Yes.
Oh, hey.
So you know it goes,
Live and learn.
"Before your bridges burn." What did you think it was?
Before you break your sperm.
Nice. That was a big improvement. Should have been that.
Mine's like so much tamer than that. When I was a little kid,
Good night.
when I was a very little kid, I used to watch The Jeffersons, and I mean a very little kid, and I thought it was I called the show Tootie Ta, because that was what I heard. Moving on up, Tootie Ta. Moving on up, Tootie Ta. Like I was I was whatever, like 3 or something, and that's what I sang. That's what I sang along to the show.
So my son, the Beyonce song "Single Ladies," because he saw the video and they're doing this thing with their hands, he thought it was all the finger ladies.
Really? That's interesting because my son figured that the song was actually about really liking your finger, and if you like it, you should put a ring on it.
Oh,
It's really about the finger and putting a ring on the finger. No, he didn't know about relationships or anything. It was just like, hey, if you have an awesome finger, you should put a ring on it.
It's true of all the fingers, as it turns out. I thought we were just going to stick to Gangstagrass lyrics, but one of my favorites that Wrench mishears intentionally from a from a Mental Advisory track was the line where Arson says we're wanted worldwide, so we left the pond on tour getting hit on by Farmer John.
That's right. Farmer John is getting fresh.
Farmer John.
Yep.
Filthy old man.
Over the Czech Republic, you know.
Oh.
But my favorite that I miss here is from a track from American Music. The song about landscaping, you know, when the deal go down. The chorus goes, when the deal go down, better mow the lawn. When the deal go down, better hope it don't grow long.
Oh, damn, is that what that is?
I sing that to myself all the time when I mow the lawn.
Well, I've also had a child sing the end of Ain't No Stoppin' to be about jalapenos, because we jalapeno house like this. Like this. We jalapeno house like that.
There actually might be an opportunity for advertising in that.
Yes.
It really could be. That could be.
Come on
really
up
good.
to Jalapeno House. We've got jalapeno copies.
I believe we also promised them last week that we would tell the Czech Republic girl in the train story.
Oh, right. It's supposed to be storytelling week.
Yes.
All right, who wants to tell that one?
Okay.
Story
So-
makes me sad, but I have a kid now, so I guess I feel
First.
different.
First, if anyone has ever seen the movie Coming to America, there's a scene on a train where they're in disguise and Eddie Murphy is dressed up as like some sort of African exchange student. Dan Aykroyd is in blackface as a Rastafarian. And so they meet each other on the train, knowing who they are, but they're pretending this whole thing to try and fool this guy to take the briefcase, blah, blah, blah. And so we're in the Czech Republic. It's me, Wrench, Dolio, Dan, and our fiddle player at the time, John. We're on a train.
And Landry.
No, Landry wasn't there. Remember, Landry didn't go. She didn't go to the. Her and
If
Kirby
Andrew
didn't
was
go.
on this train, things would have gone just a little.
Oh yeah, she didn't get on the train because she didn't want to
Just the five of us.
Yeah, she didn't want to.
Just the five of us. She didn't go to church. No. So the five of us are sitting. We get on this. We get in the train. This girl is by herself, sitting in the train car.
This girl. Talk about this girl. Czech girl.
A young Czech girl, maybe 20, right?
Maybe 20. Maybe not.
Doing her
18,
thing,
I don't know.
you know, living her life. She's fine, not worried about nothing. These five lunatics get on a train car with her, and we start talking about coming to America.
And then we
cracking the
reenact
hell-
the scene.
We start
Reenact the
yelling
scene.
lines from Trading Places and
Yeah, Trading Places, my apologies.
Yeah.
And so in the midst of all of this, at one point, she stands up, walks out the door. Now, she could have just walked out the door. She could have. Turned around, and she says to all of us, I just want you to know I am leaving because I am afraid of you, and walks away.
And we cracked up. And then
It was like, but as funny as much as we all laughed, it made perfect sense.
right, because if most those of you who have not seen us, we are larger than most musicians are.
Mm-hmm.
Most musicians are like around 5'5", 5'7". We are all 6 and above.
yeah, this
So-
is one of those like Zoom surprise things. If you really have only ever met us here, like when we all stand up, we're just like
We are not small dudes.
Not small dudes at all. And I was very proud of her. She was like, I'm in this train with these five weird Americans. Obviously, I'm going home in a bag. Let me just bounce.
no. She made the only sensible decision. It was right. It was right.
did
And I think even like Randa, you at the time were like, I mean, I get it. I'm a dad, and like I would probably want my kid to do the same thing.
Exactly right. And my daughter's going to be going to Chicago. If she's ever on a train with a bunch of weirdos, I expect her to leave the train. Like, it was brilliant. It was absolutely brilliant. She made the right decision. I do feel like her turning around to tell us was a bit much. Was a bit like, I'm not sure what that was, like what she was trying to prove.
What the thing is,
she did it.
Yeah, but had she not said that, we wouldn't have an amusing story to tell.
Exactly.
We would have just been like, oh, she got off at her stop.
Yeah, she got nope. I'm not only am I leaving you, I'm letting you know exactly why I'm leaving you, because you guys are fucking weird. Goodbye.
It was the cutest little voice too. It was like, I am afraid of you.
Adorable and terrified. So, God bless her. I hope she's doing well. I hope that girl is, somewhere happy as fuck and doing her thing and living her life. No longer scared of weird American musicians.
She probably saw us on television and was like, those are the guys. Oh my God, it's them. She was terrified. She was chilling, just doing her thing, living her check life. And saw us and was like, ah! Dropped her glass and scared and screamed, scared her family, and was like, what's the problem? I know those crazy people. Yeah. Plus, we were already like pretty hyped and already amused and happy because we had just rocked one of the largest crowds we'd ever seen at the time. It was maybe like 13,000, 14,000 people in the Czech, like in a packed like tent. It was just crazy. Absolutely insane. And we hadn't had a lot of sleep. We were still a little goofy. And man, she was perfect. She was so on point with that. So on point with that. I'm so proud of her. Where is this weirdo at? Who? Wrench?
No, Shanti. He said he'll be here in a minute. He'll be here in a minute. Mads is now following. Welcome, Mads. We are happy to see you. We hope you enjoyed the story of the little Czech girl.
Running for her life. That shit was hilarious, man. Wait a minute. I spoke of him. He is connecting to our audio. There he is.
Here he is. The man, the myth, all of the legends.
Can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
Times of India said he's America's biggest Indian rapper. NPR said he isn't concerned with whether his music will make top 10 lists. He's more concerned with whether or not it will last forever. That is Brooklyn Shanti, the man who brought not only hip-hop to India, but also our son, the voice of reason, to wax for the first time at the turn of the century. Welcome, Shanti. We are so happy to have you. Real name Nathan Lasker, if you're looking to hire him for a corporate gig, but the one, Brooklyn Shanti, he is here with us.
What's up, guys?
Welcome.
Hey, homie. What's the deal, babe?
I see Wrench is overjoyed.
Wrench took an invisibility
He had
potion.
to lie down. He got too excited.
I can't. He said I can't with these people. I ain't messing with y'all tonight.
Gangstagrass, like,
hey man,
what's up? America's Got Talent. Y'all just been all around the world. The rest of us, look at me. I'm in my pandemic bunker, and you guys.
Yeah, but you got multiple pandemic bunkers, bro.
That I do. Yeah, now I'm
You got multiple bunkers.
Yeah. So this is the West Coast pandemic bunker, and then we got the East Coast stuff going on too. How is everyone?
Good. Killing, man.
So congratulations on all the recent hubbub and hullabaloo, as the old folks say.
We had a little bit of baloo, a little bit of baloo.
I mean, then you got the bare necessities, right? So it's just like
Ooh, you did that one.
Deep cut.
You did that one. Deep cut. Okay.
Deep cut.
Very deep cut.
But
yeah. We chilling, man.
What up,
Melody? I want to know what's up with you, cuz.
I just hit the road and I'm out in Long Beach for a little bit. Like, I got a studio space I'm building out over here, so y'all are invited. I know we're gonna see each other in September.
Yes. Heard.
Yes.
For the Gangstagrass West Coast excursion.
We are
I
very
gotta connect
excited
you with
about that.
I gotta connect you with my boy DJ Dano out in Long Beach.
Oh, word. Yeah, I know nobody. I just like hopped a flight, and I was like, you know, I went from Seattle to Portland to like LA, and then wound up falling in love in Long Beach, and said, you know, I'm just gonna chill here for a hot sec, and then see what it do.
Right. You said Portland.
Portlandia. According to Questlove, the next place where the independent music scene is going to actually erupt and blow open. So I was really interested. Like, he was interviewing Sleater Kenny a few weeks ago, and post-pandemic Portland is actually like a thriving hotbed. Like, I've just been looking for where can you put yourself to like make some pretty awesome creative work. And so,
yo, we got a homie in Portland.
Oh, what?
Randall White.
Our boy Randall White, MC extraordinaire.
Oh, yeah.
He runs a nonprofit that helps people restore their homes. He's actually on vacation right now. He's actually might be down by you right now. He's supposed to be heading down to Cali. He's a wonderful dude, an amazing MC. If you go back to Portland, we'll hook it up. He's a good ball.
I should be there in the next couple of weeks because there's a lot of music happening out there that's exciting. There's a crew called Anjali and the Incredible Kid, and they run with everyone from like the who's who of like Stone's Throw to this, that, and the third, like the types that like Madlib and everyone find inspiration off of, like Indian beat diggers and stuff, and they put on the big Bhangra shows out there. So
yeah, they're handling up in the Pacific Northwest. Which call just came back out? That project just dropped a new joint.
Yep. Yeah, man.
Just came back out, thank God.
So,
they're on tour Rock M right now, as a matter of fact.
Yeah, is today the 26th?
27th.
It's the 27th. So they're here with Rock M tomorrow night in LA.
Oh, that's what's up.
Yeah.
I like you.
So
you go to, yo, my homie Michelle just saw Rock M and Jeff together.
That's the tour. That's the tour.
Wait, Jazzy Jeff?
Jazzy Jeff,
Jazzy Jeff,
bro.
Speaking of people who are awesome on Twitch, DJ Jazzy Jeff has been crushing it with his DJ sets on Twitch.
Yo,
he crushes every set he does, period.
He does.
You know, Shell is about as hip hop as cats get. So she's sending pics of the John, and like streaming the John and whatnot. And you know, Rakim and Jeff was just killing it. She did the same thing for the Dilla John that they had in August.
Yeah, in LA.
Bro, Kweli was there, Planet Asia was there, Frank and Dank was there. Yo, it was off the top. It was
right?
off the chain. It was off the chain. Absolutely fantastic.
Our son and Dolio were there down the street, locked down.
Yeah. We were wanting to be there, but we couldn't. You know, we had to be quarantined. You know.
I mean,
it was crazy though, man. It was wild out there in Cali. Be careful out there, man.
Tell me about it. I mean, like Long Beach. You know, listening to all the Snoop songs, I never understood that North Long Beach is the border of Compton. And like growing up on the East Coast, I was like, when Eazy-E was talking smack, going like, yo, Compton and Long Beach never got together like this before, and like, how is this happening? Remember, because they had that fallout between Dre and Eazy, and those two camps were like beefing. So basically, Eazy's big sticking point was like, in G culture, Compton and Long Beach don't get along. But it wasn't until I got here that I realized, dude, like there's like a thin border between Compton and Long Beach, and then you're just there on Slauson. You're just that makes for an interesting Uber ride.
Yeah, a few years ago, I feel like we were coming through and just going finding like, oh, there's Inglewood. Oh, okay. Or like, yeah, just various things that would just pop up like, well, that's where that is.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, that thing. Yeah.
So I lived here back in 2017 for a bit and like produced a bunch of records for folks. And my rule of thumb was, if it's mentioned on The Chronic or on Doggy Style, do not go there, because a young Indian beau from New York should not be like caught out there. Like, look, I'm wearing like, I don't know, like I wear colors without knowing I wear colors. And it's like, I can't be caught out there. They're going to mistake me for something I'm not.
No, they don't really stress colors so much anymore. I mean, flags, yeah, but you know, you'll see, you know, Blood's wearing blue.
Oh, word?
Yeah, red.
Oh, okay. I didn't
The
know that.
uninitiated audience at home, maybe just a quick explanation of colors and flags when we're talking about the Crips and Bloods of
So
yesteryear.
if you actually wear the American flag, no, that's not. No.
Oh, you're thinking of me. And I don't have a gang, as far as I'm aware.
Quick welcome to Hoss for joining us, now following. Great to
Thank
see
you.
you.
What up, Hoss?
I thought you were calling Ranchhoss because he just came back to the computer.
That's what I thought too.
Hey,
Dude,
Al.
how do I get jumped into your gang? I got like the pandemic closet behind me. Like, how do I get like the
we'll
decorative?
look you up. We'll hook you up.
I was about to make you one. Time was a little tight today, but we will make sure that you have one for the next time that you join us.
Like I tried to decorate for y'all.
I like the plant on a hanger. I think that's a really nice touch.
I mean,
It is a plant on a hanger.
That's some
I didn't
Brooklyn
notice
shit right
that.
there. That's some Brooklyn shit straight up.
Hanging plant,
You have a plant on a hanger. I'm done with you. I'm so done with you.
Actually, that's something I'm curious about, though. You know, as somebody who's spent a lot of a sort of high-powered career on the East Coast and specifically in New York, and now, you know, but also having spent time on the West Coast and now living out on the West Coast. Talk about a little bit of the, you know, what are the cultural differences? What are you noticing? Things about, you know, whether it's, you know, anything from environment to how people communicate. I think that stuff's really interesting. What have you noticed?
I can give you my top 3 observations. Number 1, I drink whiskey and I don't smoke weed. Number 2, I'm way aggressive. Number 3, get to the fucking point right now. Not now, but right now. And like, we can move forward. So, and maybe number 3 like feeds into number 2, but like even when I was negotiating my apartment, my landlord was like, listen, I'm feeling the pressure. And I made it happen in a couple of days. And God bless her soul, she flowed with me because she was like, listen, you're coming from New York and like, you're trying to make this happen, but like, we'll make it happen quickly. But like, how does it work in New York? I was like, in Brooklyn, you got to grab the unit the same day you see it or you don't get it. So that's how I'm operating. And she was like, oh no, you got the week. You got the week to figure this out. And you just make sure it's what you like. And I'm like, dude, I don't come from that environment. I come from a place where like, if you like it, grab it because it'll be gone by the time you revisit. But I got to see this place 2 times in 4 days. And like, I found something that worked. So people, in terms of their speed, it is really laid back comparatively. I do appreciate the speed at which things get done in Philly and New York, because and to some extent DC's got that too, but really it's Philly and New York. It's like, be about your business, get it done, keep it pushing. Over here, it's more like, yeah, we'll think about it. We'll contemplate it, we'll roll it around. Maybe it's an idea, maybe it's not, but I appreciate how Brooklyn makes things actionable. And then San Francisco is just like, I was up there for a hot second. I was like, nah, I could buy the t-shirt, but I can't do this.
Yo, I meant to show you something. I don't know if you saw this the last time you were here. This is very important. I'm going to take my camera off. You recognize this table?
Oh,
I
The
do not see
invisible
a
table. The invisible
see-
table.
Oh, wait,
I see-
hold on. Wait.
I see some pant legs.
This is important because, hold on. Let me see if I can get to John here. This is very important.
How's everyone doing at home?
It looks goofy. Hold on.
Welcome back. It's the Gangstagrass.
Hold on, motherfucker.
You better have your pants on. That's all I'm saying.
Never. Look, check this out.
there we go.
You recognize this table?
Oh my goodness, that's my table.
Yo, this joint has been with me since you left.
20 years.
Yo, this is
20
20
Bro,
years.
how many wires do you have on that table?
All of them.
Yo,
Connected to everything right now.
that was the studio table back in the day.
Yes, brother. Yes.
I am honored that you've held on to that piece of vintage
This
history.
joint is maintained. I don't know where the stools are, but this right here.
Wow.
Many a track was written
Wow.
on this joint. Many a
Wow.
breakfast was served on this joint. And that's how far we go back.
Wow.
And I bring that up because, like Sleeve said, like the reason the reason why you see the words "our son" back there, The reason why they called me the voice of reason was this guy right here.
Oh, stop it.
That was you. That was you.
Okay, but
you don't remember that? You don't remember that?
To be fair, the reason I'm alive right now, because I was wilding out. I was wilding out as a youth, like a little youth. The reason I'm here today is because of Randy. It's because of the voice of reason. I got many stories. Like, I remember the night that, remember Footwork? When y'all got up, Questlove, like the early days.
It was the best night, dude. It was the best night. I still got the picture with me, Lou, and Black Thought, dude.
What people don't understand is, like, Randy goes back to, like, the origins. Before people who knew who the Roots were, like, the Roots were hosting open mics in Philly. But Randy and Dolio are stitched into the fabric of, like, Philly hip-hop culture and East Coast hip-hop culture. And it goes all the way back. And we've all matured together. And I'm so glad that we get to sit here as professional artists that are working our craft, right? Everyone from Black Thought and Questlove and everyone recognized these guys early on, right? Like, what people don't understand about the heritage of the vocal element that's rap specific in Gangstagrass is this is coming from the tradition of lyricism. This is coming from the deep-rooted heart and tradition of what hip-hop is meant to be. And what Gangstagrass does in the spectrum of what hip-hop is actually staying true to the mission statement of hip-hop itself. And you know, I thank Wrench for creating the platform and the ability for everybody to express through it. But I mean, this is truly a synthesis that hip-hop imagined at the beginning of hip-hop culture. And I can say that because I'd spent time with Bambaataa. I became the Indian Bambaataa. Like, I currently still work with Africa Islam. Islam and Ice-T have signed me and Pad Thai Sound System to Ice-T's new venture. And we've been releasing things through Sony. And so just hearing from all the greats what the antiquity of what we do is about, you know, I keep on telling them, yeah, in Thailand and India, I've got my projects, but what Gangstagrass is doing in America, there's nothing that's equivalent to it, especially coming from a cultural conversation standpoint. And that's why I'm really proud to, like, be invited to have this conversation. I mean, of course, behind the scenes, we're like great friends. But I'm really proud of the stride that even in the way that you guys have handled all of the success and all of the accolades, you know, from Billboard to broadcast television to everything else, we're at a place where you remain the same. It doesn't affect you. And, you know, I was talking to Sleeves earlier, and it's like Gangstagrass to me follows the ethos of hip hop and punk rock, because it's like, really, we're going to do us. And we're at a place where we only need to do us, and other people keep wanting to bring us into their conversation. But really, Gangstagrass is punk rock and hip hop rolled into a different package. It's the ethos of what is and always has been, like, the resistance, the rebellion, just, you know, revolutionary art happening at a time when the world needs revolution. And I'm really inspired by what you have been doing. And I listen to every single lyric. Randy, you know, I analyze lyrics. Me and my very dear brother Metaphor have been analyzing your lyrics and everyone else's lyrics for over 25 years together. And, like, when we pull apart all of the cosmic goop that goes into what you guys create and what you guys are freestyling, what you guys are expressing, it's just, this is what hip hop is about. And I think that for people in my age bracket, it is easy to, like, say that the kids don't have hip hop culture in their best interest. But what I say is there's different echelons of expression when it comes to hip hop. And what Gangstagrass accomplishes is inviting new people in while not alienating the youth or the people at our level. It's an opportunity to fuse together things that are familiar. And it is Americana. Hip hop is the blues. Hip hop is jazz. But not everybody can listen to a DJ Premier beat. Not everybody can listen to a Pete Rock beat. Not everybody can get down with a trap beat. And what we forget in popular culture is we need to account for the number of Americans and the number of people that are not American that are looking for actual instrumentation. That's what makes the Roots so clutch. That's what makes Rage Against the Machine so relevant to this day. Gangstagrass is the formulation of a new American aesthetic, and I'm just honored that I get to call you guys my friends.
Okay. Why do we have this guy on again?
All right, I got to go get some tissue.
That's.
But
I say it every day, man. But it's that's.
He gets it.
He's no lie, by the way.
I've been reading this new piece by Oprah Winfrey, and it's called "What Happened to You," and it's about ancestral trauma for Black people, and it's about why we're experiencing the ripple effect we are in Black culture today, and why things are indirectly connected to the treatment of Black people. And I believe that your single freedom, that you gave me the honor of working on the video for, Randy and I collaborated on that. I believe that your single freedom and this book align one-to-one, like everything that is being discussed about the trauma in the Black experience, and trying to get over this moment and analyze why there's a ripple effect that's not being discussed. I think freedom is a very big component of that conversation. And when I listen to the lyrics of that song and I read along, this book is like a companion. And it's like, I think that you guys touch a nerve through your work, and it's prevalent through No Time for Enemies, and it's no wonder, you grew like wildflowers, and the rest of the world is now trying to figure out how to appropriately put you into a vase. But the thing about the punk rock aesthetic and the hip hop thing is there is no vase that can contain you. And I'm just watching people one by one give you accolades and not know how to deal with you. And that's amazing. It's an amazing moment to behold.
Yeah, I mean, you've been there, right? People not quite knowing what to do with you. What do you, right? I mean, what?
First Indian rapper in the world, right? Next to RC up in Toronto.
Oh, shout out to RC.
Shout out to RC. He was the original Don.
Used to love that boy. Yo.
RC was the original, and Randy and I got to meet him at a
RC was that boy. RC was that boy. I love that dude.
But like I'm pulling, for that generation of people, I'm pulling Anchor. RC is the original Don from Toronto. Yeah, I mean, we didn't grow up in Canada, so there wasn't that accepting of a culture base. And RC did not try to go to India and to Bollywood. He just kept it in Canada. And my efforts were more like, I want to break out here and I want to break out in India. And I got to break out in London and India and Paris and Germany. And, it worked. And but people to this day still don't know how to categorically put it into a box. And when you're dealing with commercial music, so it's interesting, like, I find like directors of Universal bringing me on board to market their artists and A&R their teams and do operations for them, because I understand how to do it for myself on my own label. And so they'll bring me on board to like have me advise them on how to appropriately roll out their artists. So it's a very interesting thing. It's like, to quote Greg Nice, I originate, they duplicate. And that's kind of like where Gangstagrass resides. And it's never easy being the first one to the punch, but as you persevere, you will be the last people standing. And like the message, it's a very native tongues approach. It's the synthesis of everything we've gone through and who we all are collectively in the fabric of this community. To me, it's very important that Gangstagrass as a collective voice gets, I think it's one part Tribe Called Quest, one part Fugees, one part Dave Matthews Band. And don't look at that. Randy knows my passion for Dave Matthews.
Oh, no doubt.
But it's like, and it's a little sprinkle of the roots as well. And it's like, you take a synthesis of all those things, because I think, the Barnstormers are just as strong as the DMB fan base. It's everything's there, and everyone's been laying down the groundwork for so many years that, from my standpoint as a Hindu prophet, the only thing that can happen is everything that has begotten, the Roots or DMB. It's just, I remember Randy and I 22 years ago going to see the Roots, like with Mike Jacks in Pittsburgh, and like realizing that it's hour 4 and they're still playing, and they've been playing every night for the last like 6 months. And like, when Randy got to open up for Black Star, Talib and Mos Def at Carnegie Mellon, like, you remember it was Fudge was with them and everything. Like, these experiences, like the proof is in the pudding. Like, Gangstagrass is comprised of greats, and it's just everybody gets their turn at fame and fortune and stardom, and you guys have consistently turned down the bigger shiny objects and strategically done what's right for you. And that's an honor. Like, you guys are really sticking to the messages that you're putting out on the records, and it's like,
I forgot I did that, Joe.
Yeah, right.
I totally forgot, because I was so wrapped up in the fact that, oh my God, Black Star's here. Oh yeah, I did my little rappy rap thing with Mostly Qualia here. Holy shit, I totally forgot.
Randy forgets that
I forgot
with Mos Def and Talib, and
I totally forgot.
And
about
those
that.
guys pull him on stage when they see him. Like, Randy just.
I wish.
But that's.
I wish.
But it's what I call, like, it's the amnesia of successful artistry. I find in the psychosis of every super successful creator, and I'm sure Wrench has this, I'm sure Danjo has this, like, you kind of wake up with an amnesia of what you've done before you woke up this morning, because this morning is a new day, it's a new challenge, it's a new opportunity to make something fresh and original. And the plight of the artist is to constantly project and create something positive out into the universe, because you're looking for that karmic boomerang. And with lyrical powerhouses like Dolio and Randy, like, I understand and I fully get, like, how it could become difficult to remember what you've accomplished, because no time for enemies, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's no time for fake ones. Like, you just keep pushing. I've talked a lot.
I actually kind of wanted to ask, and we can give you a break for now, but just speaking of innovators, I mean, you mentioned working with Africaambada, and I feel like for the benefit of, we got a range of people listening, and some folks know a lot more about hip hop than others. And for me personally, coming into this as not as much of a hip hop person, I think understanding the deeper import of all this stuff you're talking about has been a great journey for me. Just learning more about, like, the fact that, like, hip hop is more than just a genre of music, for instance, but much more intentional. And so, speaking to the people who actually, very intentionally created it as such, and just since you spent time with them, I realize in some ways this is like more hip hop 101 stuff, but anything that you want to say to talk about that, I just think that's really valuable stuff.
Oh, sure. So Africaambada was. It's a sign. Who's calling?
Oh, that's you, Delia.
Sorry, my son. That's my son trying to FaceTime me from my mother-in-law's.
Aw, you can put him on the stream. He might know about Bambada.
No.
So
Sorry, if I jump for a second,
Africaambada.
I might need to do dad duties, but
So just for anyone who's watching the stream, Africaambada, he's the head of the Universal Zulu Nation, or was, former head. The Universal Zulu Nation was an organization that was created out of the street gang called the Black Spades. And the Black Spades were a savage Bronx-based street gang during the 70s. They were quite violent. Bambada and his contemporaries in the gang converted them to the Universal Zulu Nation, and they made it about peace, love, and unity for all through hip hop culture. And hip hop culture consists of breakdancing, graffiti, turntablism, and MCing. Those are the official 4 pillars of that culture. And basically, Bambada for a long time was sort of like an overseer of the culture. He helped in Fat Five Freddy's co-produced documentary Wild Style. He helped to coin the phrase hip hop. Hip hop was a phrase that an MC named Cowboy employed, and Bambada took that phrase to basically describe this new thing that was emerging when Freddie had asked him, what do you call this? What is the synthesis of all these elements? And so for a great long time, the native tongues, like your Tribe Called Quest, your De La Soul, your Queen Latifah, Moni Lug, Black Sheep, Jungle Brothers, like all of these constituent artists of the native tongues and like Sons of Native Tongues, like Mostaf and Talib and everyone, myself, we're all part of Zulu Nation because we ascribe to that culture which first started the movement of hip hop. And so there are many rule sets that are involved and many understandings, lots of knowledge that one must do to become part of that teaming organization. And now in 2021, it's still there in solidarity, but it's not quite as prevalent. And, things are evolving and, Africa Islam is still a Zulu king. And again, I interact with him regularly along with Ice-T and everyone else. And there are knowledge bearers and elder statesmen who are wisdom providers for those of us who are now at a level who can mentor and teach the next generation. And you can find many of us who came up through this tradition working with and training. Like, you have Salam Remy, you have, everyone from Kanye to this to that, like all of us are impacted by it. All of us are teaching, all of us are trying to spread wisdom. And I guess that's the best kind of really quick cliff note. Dolio, Rand, you got anything in addition?
Not at all there, Dr. Rapulon. Yeah, all of the science.
Yeah, actually, I I guess mid '90s to mid to late '90s, I was part of what was called Il Crew Universal, which ended up merging with the Zulu Nation when it became the Universal Zulu Nation. So I'm quite familiar with a lot of the background, which is kind of like how one of the reasons why I kind of always stayed active as far as hip hop as a culture is because of like those seeds that were planted and watered by all the people who joined the Universal Zulu Nation, and as it expanded into this worldwide hip hop movement, just preserving all the tenets of the original organization, and also just promoting all of the basic elements of hip hop as a culture. Because for those who aren't familiar with hip hop culture as a culture, it's a lot more than just rap.
Yeah.
And like I've kind of taken part and participated in every facet of it as far as I've seen. I used to b-boy. I still actively DJ. I used to, be an aspiring graph writer, but I just got tired of, having to duck cops while spray painting stuff.
I'm there with you. I'm there one to one. B-boying is the only thing I can no longer do, but who knows? I might pick it up. I just started skateboarding when I got to Long Beach. I picked that back up. So let's see. Maybe I can pop and lock again. But,
yeah, me and my son were skating today. So.
Oh, it's great. It's great core exercise. That's what nobody tells you as you get older.
Oh, your lower back and.
Yeah.
Listen, if I try b-boying, y'all gonna have to help me out. Just leave me there, or drag me to the hospital. Otherwise, rap.
I remember this one time when Randy got on stage with Common back in the day. Do you remember when you got on stage with Common?
You remember getting on stage with Common
and
in the white building.
It was you and Immortal Technique and a couple of other people got on stage with Common, and Common was b-boying doing windmills that night.
He was doing windmills.
You remember that night?
I do remember. And Common's a big dude. So this kid's windmilling, and he's got these giant legs just whipping through the air. I'm like, we're all gonna die. It's a wrap. It's a wrap.
Exactly. I was off to the side of the stage. Randy was like behind him because Common had called MCs up to like go. Yeah. And like this is when Common was still at his like battle tested time. Like he was still savage. I think he did like I Used to Love Her, Bitchin' You. Like I remember that.
Yeah, this was a right after. This was about 98 maybe.
Yeah, it was like Resurrection time period.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I remember he called he was just like, get up here. Come on.
And then the crazy part was, like 3 years later, he was at I think it was a root show at the Electric Factory, and he was still windmilling. I was like, bro, you're too old for. Oh, okay, maybe you're not. All right,
no,
fine.
no, you're not. You're
like you said, that is a good practice to keep in shape. It's basically capoeira, merged into hip hop form.
What's your favorite common track? I've been going down like the list. I've been like figuring out my
favorite common track.
So mine is Soul by the Pound. All
right, Soul by the Pound is a good one.
Not the remix, but the original version from Can I Borrow
a Dollar? Yeah.
Ooh, favorite common track. I'm gonna go either I Am Music from Electric Circus, or The Food. I love The Food. No, I Am Music is Electric Circus is the most slept on album ever. That record is at least 10 years ahead of its time.
I love it so much.
And it come out, 5 years ago instead of when it did come out. Man,
it's one of the blueprints. It's one of the blueprints for like what all these kids are doing
where we're
right
at now. Yeah.
Like,
I Am Music is a slept on joint. It's got the sample is it's like an old timey joint. Like if Pharaoh heard the sample, he would lose his mind, right? Branch, you probably know it. If you haven't heard it, you have to hear it. It's a very old timey sort of sounding thing, and it's very like, and it's got this great little like horn in the back. It's so bonkers. Yeah, I'm gonna go with I Am Music. Amazing track.
I'm gonna say I'm singing that.
It's and Jill Scott does the hook. I Am Music. That's my joint.
To this day, my favorite joint, and you remember this because it was on repeat in my little Honda Civic. All Night Long with Africaambada.
Yeah, man.
Questlove.
Yeah,
Questlove. Off One Day It'll All Make Sense. That album, we were bumping that album heavy back in like '97.
We bumped that record real.
That record, we bumped it.
Yes, like, indeed. That was a banger. That was one of those bangers.
And the Mountain Brothers. Listen.
Okay.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, we appreciate all the subscriptions, folks.
Jawas versus Ewoks. Nice. That would be the craziest fight ever. Jawas versus Ewoks. I want to see all of that. Yo. Anyway.
No, the Ewoks will win it. I'm sorry.
Yeah, because the Ewoks are cannibals. Yeah, right. Ewoks eat anything.
Do they? Are they really cannibals?
Bro.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Jawas have better technology, right?
So did the Empire.
and the Ewoks ate a lot of them. A lot of stormtroopers ended up in the Ewoks.
Remember the end of Return of the Jedi when they was banging on the stormtrooper helmets? Like maybe a couple of them were prisoners. Most of them were dinner.
Yeah, they were dinner.
Them balls was dinner, cause like without question. The Ewoks was like, yo, y'all trying to get some of this soup? What's up? Stormtrooper soup.
Wrench, what are you listening to right now for inspiration? What's got you kind of like motivated and going?
Actually, I just spent a bunch more time listening to something that I've been telling folks about for about a year and a half now. I don't think anybody believes me though.
You talking about
Baby Shark?
Yeah.
No. What's the name of it? Salt?
Yeah, and it's all about this producer. The producer's name is Inflow. And I basically just put together my own playlist of stuff produced by Inflow. A lot of it is Salt, but the stuff that he produces for other people sounds a lot the same. So you just make a playlist out of it. And it's good to go.
What? Are you familiar with Deb Hines, Blood Orange?
Yeah. Yeah.
He writes a lot of Solange's stuff, and he does a lot of interesting work. Like yeah. I always wondered what a Blood Orange Wrench collabo would sound like.
Let's do it.
It's like he's on some future stuff, and like really like.
Well, how do collaborations happen?
Well, that's where Super Manager Sleeves figures out how to get in touch with people. And look, it all starts with a point of intention, right? So artistically, if you're at a place where you like the work, then
I mean, yeah, it all starts with a point of intention, and then often ends with me in a clown suit in a dumpster in Tijuana waking up.
That only happened like 3 or 4 times. I really feel like you should stop overstating that.
Tijuana is literally down the road, so I can meet you there. And like I've got, it's like midget clown and like full size clown together.
I'm gonna wake up in that dumpster. I'm calling Shanti. But
yeah, I mean, you look great in the clown suit.
The problem with collaboration is I'm very fond of the idea. I love collaborating, but if we collaborate with anyone, I want to ensure that it actually comes out.
So that's an interesting thing, because having worked at some majors and helped to put together some of these projects, sometimes it comes down. Okay, so here's the thing. When the artists ultimately want it to happen, it's always a better idea than business people trying to make it happen.
Right.
So the best thing to ever happen is if the creative people get in touch and vibe out. And for any younger listener that aspires to be in the creative world and, work in this profession that's wacky wild that we all work in, it's always best to find the other creative individual and then kind of pair off and do the work and then let the business people deal with it. Like create the event and then move forward.
Yeah, we've created events. We've recorded entire albums with people. We're still waiting to hear it come out. But I imagine it's still just because the business people.
So there's ways where Super Manager Sleeves can basically work without going too deep into the weeds. There's ways to, in the future, mitigate that kind of risk.
Yeah.
And Gangstagrass will be right there. Risk mitigation will be happening. But
yeah, I can't even. I'm not even going to say who the stuff is with, but when it does come out, it'll be a banger.
Well, and sometimes, like, look, I've been working with Camp Lo for over 10 years, and like Geechee Suede specifically, and we have. I mean, look, we didn't put out our work first because 80 Blocks from Tiffany's with Pete Rock, and I didn't want to get in his way. And then after that, like, I don't know if we were completely satisfied with the quality of what we had done. And then there was him and, Apple Juice and Freebase 808, and they were potentially going to put something out. So then my thing with them, like it, this way and that way, wishy-washy. And it's like, it's been 10 years of developing certain ideas. But even now, when you listen to it, and we were just talking a little while ago, the world wasn't ready when we made it. Like, Camp Lo is so advanced, and you guys know this because you guys just did the Grass Connection and you paid homage to them. And they're so advanced that you could drop their first album right now and people would be as unwilling to understand it and not getting it. But that could be like the new J. Cole album right now, because they created their own everything. But it came out of the same studio that Jay-Z did Reasonable Doubt in, with the same producer, Ski, and like, but I understand your consternation because but it's also part of the artistic process, right? Gangstagrass is the home team, it's the home brew, it's the mother of the apple cider vinegar, if you will. And then the rest of it, there's no time for enemies, so it's just that love movement as Tribe would have it, right? It's like, Wrench Dilla, Godzilla. He has no idea what I just said in reference, but that's beautiful.
Well, it's a little too late for me to do something with Dilla, unfortunately.
Oh, there we go. See, he got it, he caught it. I'm glad you're picking up what I'm putting down.
Of course.
I mean, from a
I
production.
never know though, because there's more Dilla stuff out there to be
Way more stuff.
brought out. So
We just gotta cozy up.
Evidently-
We just gotta cozy up the Buster, see if we can come off some of them tracks.
Evidently, there's like an entire archive that nobody's heard yet except for these specific folks, and I'm dying. Like, I'm specifically like stitched up, like hemmed up, wanting to like. I wonder, but Wrench, like, so somewhere in the late '90s, early 2000s, you know, I started working with people that were fusing Indian music, specifically Bollywood sounds and hip hop together. And your aesthetic is very unique in that you're the first person that I've heard consistently mixing what I call, and I'm like an Indian American son of immigrants, so like please forgive me when I say this because I'm coming from an outsider perspective. But to my production here, like I was talking to Sleeves earlier, and I'm like, dude, Wrench is like the new Rick Rubin and Tom Petty put together, because when they did Wildflower in 1994, that redefined pop country, because that's what all pop country is doing right now. So the Wrench aesthetic
you mean
is
being
like,
boring?
what's up?
You mean being boring? Wildflower was boring, although
Although
Rick
it's the
Rubin is a great
baseline.
producer. So
It's Wildflower is the baseline for what pop country became.
ugh.
Therefore, yeah, right. So, like from an academic standpoint, I mean, I'm a fan of Americana, so I'm just gonna say like bluegrass. But you also like, what are the other constituent compositional particles that you're putting into the gumbo there? Not to like mince my references too much, but
Well, the secret that I actually didn't even realize at the time, that I'm still exploring, but that I'm recognizing in hindsight, the secret is that when you go back far enough, country and blues actually are like coming. There's a point where they're not really distinguishable, and so if you listen to the first Gangstagrass experiment, the volume 1 project, where I was just sampling bluegrass records, it wasn't just bluegrass records. Like I had some like, you know, Blind Willie McGee on there, and some Sonny McGee, Sonny Terry and Brownie McGee stuff, some Pink Anderson, like all these old people that folks would consider blues, right? But they were playing acoustic guitars, slide acoustics in a twangy fashion, right? And it was, you know, that at that point, it was no different from what you would see in a lot of country stuff. And so the secret is that there's something out there that's just Southern music. Like, what is twang and what is soul? And both of those are like trying to describe something that comes from the South, that is a particular approach to like melody and phrasing that you're going to find in blues and gospel and country and a whole bunch of stuff. And it's just mining for that, because that's really at the heart of all of it.
now when you were working on that first experiment, did you ever in your imagination, could you ever fathom that you would get to a point where the dude that created American Idol would someday like be talking about this type of experimentation on a national stage, where you have a forum to share this like really what we all do is like a grand gesture in the art of experimentation, right? Like we're all just kind of disparate, experimenting, fusing, like we're like little engineers of like imaginarium ideas. And like as Mos Def said, like we're the CEOs of imagination industries, you know. It's like what or Yassine, I'm sorry, but you know, I don't want to dead name him, but basically, did you ever think it would get to this level of attention, and was that the intention?
It wasn't necessarily like a prediction as much as kind of a hope and imagination. Although this level is, you know, is kind of a specific thing. I definitely never thought that I would go in front of Simon Cowell for anything, for any reason. Not because I didn't think it was going to be big or good, but that's just a very different lane from my imagination of, you know, sort of a trajectory to becoming something notable. But I did I feel like what I do is awesome. So for me, it's always the measurement of like, where is everybody?
I mean, if I can be honest, when I saw you guys on television, I was like, it's the same reaction I had to when I was told stories by Ruza Blue, who was the manager of Bambaataa, Rocksteady, and everybody, but she was tutored by Malcolm McLaren, who managed the Sex Pistols. She worked for Vivienne Westwood, Malcolm McLaren's girlfriend / partner or whatever. And all the descriptions that I was given, all the stories that I was fed about when punk rock went into the art galleries. Like when I saw you guys on television, that's when punk rock went to the art gallery. Like the art gallery is a theater of the mind now. And I thought to myself, Gangstagrass is punk rock and they're in the art gallery. And like, these motherfuckers are not gonna get it. And like, you know, it's just with true punk kind of like aesthetic and hip hop, fuck you. Like, I love the fact that the motherfuckers, and this is me saying it from my perspective. I don't know, like, I take all liability for what I'm about to say, but like, look, I have managed people that have gone in front of those people, and I have produced for people that have come out of that system. And the bottom line for me is like, y'all motherfuckers smashed a champagne bottle on the motherfuckers that run the art gallery. And like, that's punk rock, that's hip hop to me. And I was just like, smash the fucking champagne bottle because we're going to celebrate. Like, you know what? In my opinion, people don't get art. People understand commerce in this country. And I think there's a space for all of it. And what keeps me engaged with all of the people I work with, whether it's Abaja, from Baja and the Dry Eye Crew, from Sierra Leone through Questlove.
Wait, I forgot you like them too.
I produce for Baja, and Baja is all over my shit.
They're one of my favorite bands. I play their records a lot.
So Baja and I are best friends. So, and he records.
We gotta meet.
I would love to put Baja on one of your records because Baja loves your music as well.
Yeah, they're The Dark Temple is one of my favorite songs ever.
Listen, this is a done deal. Baja, I'm sending you this link and you're gonna see this. You need to link up with these guys. Listen, that's a done deal because it's a done deal like Mobb Deep on sale.
Yes. Yes.
You picking up what I'm putting down, Rand?
That's nice.
Picking up what I'm putting down.
That's nice. Done deal like, wait, is that original? Is that you? Wait,
that's
who was that?
You. That's you.
That's
you.
I never said that.
You did. You said
never
it,
said that.
and I've never forgotten it. It's
Never
a done deal like Mobb Deep on sale. You know what? It's Mike Jacks. It was Mike Jacks. We were at the No Doubt show, so I might be incorrect.
I think that was Jack. That sounds like some Jack shit right there.
Yeah,
I wish I said that because that's brilliant. That's absolutely brilliant.
Never left me. Like that's a brilliant.
That is brilliant. Done deal like Mobb Deep on sale. That's getting used forever.
Oh my god. But yeah. Dolio, I'm so excited because I'll send you some. Like I put out the last vinyl. Baja did a song called "Breaking My Heart" for some place called Brooklyn like 2 summers ago. We did a nice little 7-inch. He's hosted all of our mixtapes, and we do a lot of concerts in Brooklyn together. And I would love for Baja to be on a Gangstagrass record. Sleeves and I were talking about something a little bit larger in execution, and I think that Baja and you guys, like, there's an idea, there's a storm brewing, and if you get Baja and some other folks, like there's Nyla from Brick and Lace, and there's lots of other people. Like, I would love to have the opportunity to kind of like talk to Dr. Wrench and figure out next ting-a-ting.
Yeah.
I think there's a way that I could potentially help to A&R some next thing.
A&R? This guy does it all.
Sweet.
He does it all.
He does do it all. That's true.
I really think Gangstagrass is the future. I think like no one needs to listen to any other music. Gangstagrass is the future of music. And I will be proving these mission statements.
Please do.
You guys, yeah. it takes, you know, I was actually talking like this before Kanye. I just want that, and Randy can attest to it.
He really was. He really was. My man.
JJ Brown has the heart and soul that I don't. I think JJ Brown and Kanye any day in a back-to-back.
I would watch that. JJ Brown, Kanye West versus. I would watch it.
I think, but like, look, JJ, I would put them in the studio to like, all right, make me a 3-song EP and draw from whomever. Your palette is open. And I think the world would be surprised with the left hooks and the jabs that JJ Brown would come with. I believe
he comes with some far out samples. Like, where the hell did you find this? But it's like exquisite.
And JJ has studied the way that Kanye has studied. They're the same time, same place, same space. But JJ has the dancing and the musicality and the DJing that Kanye doesn't. Thereby, I believe that the output will be so much for today's day and age, where you got to get them to dance as well as to nod their head. I think it'll be a really, really close. Like if it's on merit alone, take away superstar status, take away like awestruck by the fact that it's happening and all that. Merit alone, like hip hop for the sake of hip hop. I think it's gonna be like neck and neck. I mean, I think it might be stalemate.
I feel you on that. Now, granted, my bias is extraordinary, because Jay did all of my early stuff, and so I'm always going to say that. But I do see the point. I definitely do see the point.
I've had the opportunity to put like some of our best friends that are producers into like the circumference of other producers, and like, look, the reason why Dolio and our son, the voice of reason, are part of Gangstagrass is because we all have cultivated a curational taste and quality, right? The first time I heard Gangstagrass, all I could think is, this is just gonna work. It's gonna do its own hard work. It's gonna do its own heavy lift. It's just gonna work. The only thing that's gonna matter is the stick-with-itness of the constituent members. But otherwise, this all works. And like, I've walked that fire pit with the Indian stuff, right? So it's like, you just got to stick around. You just got to be consistent and like keep going at it. And
how many decades would you say?
I mean, I started when I was 12. That's when I was on like Rap City, and it's gone since then. By the time I got to Penn State with Randy, I think officially the first wax was 99, right? And then it's been going consistently. And like back then, I was trying to go hardcore, just like early Gangstagrass, where you were trying to go a little more hard on the hip hop, like little influences, but not undertones and more subtle, right? Or was I thinking Rappalachia? Am I confusing it? Rappalachia? Like, did I get that right?
Rappalachia?
Rappalachia.
There's some difference of opinion there, just as there is on Appalachian or Appalachian.
Both are fine.
Okay, so like,
the banjo player would know.
From an academic standpoint, in analyzing, so I was going like hardcore underground hip hop with Randy, like in the late '90s, early aughts, and then I made the pivot because our homie Self-Titled was like, dude, we're about to join this Fort Minor thing with Linkin Park and Mike Shinoda's doing this. He's like, if the Indian thing is happening for you, you should pop it off. Me, Self, and JJ Brown had a studio in Flatbush, and we were sharing that space. And like one day Self came up to me and was like, dude, this Indian fusion shit is crazy. And he was like, we're about to go do the Linkin Park thing. Do the Indian fusion shit, because it's a good look for you. And that was the okay I needed. Like, cause Self-Titled, I respect the fuck, like he's my ace. And he and Apathy and like that whole crew, Demigods, like all those dudes were always nice to me, always good to me, and like always respected. But then Self was the one to pull me aside and be like, bro, if you pass off this fusion stuff, you're overlooking this tremendous thing. And then El Fudge came back to me and said, you can always do the more popular shit now and go back to being an underground artist later. So do the popular stuff, do the stuff that touches everybody as quickly as possible. And he was like, if I had to do it over again, because he was supposed to be part of Us Three, remember Biddy Biddy Bop?
Yeah.
And he was the MC on Us Three's second album, and he torched it to come back to Raucous. And Raucous collapsed. Well, Fudge also was chronically irresponsible. That's why he thanks me twice on his album, because he was like, I thank Shanti, and then he goes, our son, and this is Shanti, and then and as Randy will remember during those days, as Randy was driving my car and taking Fudge and all of us on tour, oh my God. Hold on, Randy, how about this? I can speak dolphin.
That's not right. That's not right.
What's going on in these two?
I forgot all about that. Oh my God.
Randy kept us alive for so many episodes. That's an El Fudge classic.
Yeah.
Voice of reason.
I forgot he could speak dolphin.
Voice of reason.
I forgot he could speak dolphin.
Rand, do you mean to tell us
You can't just be making fun of their culture like that.
you've been in shenanigans since before Gangstagrass? Because I thought all of your shenanigans was with us.
So many shenanigans, bro. I learned the subtle art of shenanigan management at Penn State with Shanti and Lou and the whole squad. Man, there was lots of shenanigan management.
Dude, and here's the thing, like, our son is the voice of reason for a specific reason. Like, we put every obstacle in his way. We were running around with scissors basically on the playground, and we're just like trying to poke our own eyes out the whole time.
Slapping down. Stop! What are you doing? Utter madness, dude. Utter madness. The best story is still the. So we're here in Philly one night, hanging out with Lou and Jedi Mind Tricks, and we wound up chilling with Chops and the Mountain Brothers down at their spot, freestyling in his basement, whatever. We're hanging out with Fudge. We come back to my spot. This was about 6 o'clock in the morning. I remember vividly. We're crossing over Stanton Avenue from being down. We're down at Lou's place is down at 38th and Palisade, which is maybe 6 blocks from 30th Street Station, right? We come all the way back uptown. We're a block from our house. Oh shit, B! I'm supposed to be at Spinner Spot at noon to record today. What? So Fudge was supposed to be in Brooklyn recording with DJ Spinner at noon. 6 o'clock in the morning, we're coming back to my spot to crash, and he remembers this shit. We're like, B, what are you talking about? Now, this is pre-internet, go look it up on the phone and find it.
And nobody has a cell phone.
Nobody's got a cell. So we come back to my spot. I'm on the phone trying to get the Amtrak schedule to get back up to New York. Oh, yeah, there's a train leaving at 7. What? We hop back in the whip, dip back down to 30th Street Station. I'm running lights and shit, whipping down Kelly Drive. Get back to the joint. We get back to 30th Street Station at like 6:50. Run this fool in there, get his ticket, get him on the train. I think he made it. He made it to Spinners.
He did make it to Spinners. Good.
I'm like, dog, we're right there. We're right. Yeah. You remember this? Yeah. We're about to go to sleep.
And he's like, oh, shit.
Shit, B. Supposed to be a Spinner Spot at noon.
Oh, my God. I've never forgotten that.
Did they have the Chinatown bus back then?
I don't even remember if they had the Chinatown bus. I don't think so. I think this is pre-Megabus.
Because I remember
the Chinatown bus was pre-Megabus.
Yeah,
yeah, but I don't think they had that.
But I don't know. I know it wasn't running Sunday morning.
Yeah, not at 7
6 o'clock in the morning.
That's definitely a commuter bus.
But we got him there, man, and it was just like, all right, well, here we go. You know what I'm saying? And it was just that time where it was like, well, either let's get it done, or you just blew your chance to go record with fucking DJ Spinner. I'm not gonna let that happen. So, all right, let's get it in. Let's get it in. It was.
I mean, I remember that week because every week a new vinyl would drop at Fat Beats, and I remember that week because his joint called Dos Collabo with Network Reps had just dropped, and he brought me a vinyl copy of that on that trip. Wow, bringing back memories.
Yeah, man.
Like,
yeah,
wow.
That was a hot joint.
Dos Collabo. There was Collabo, then Dos Collabo, and like, dude, that was.
Joint.
You know, the thing that I'm really proud about, and the thing that, like, I think Wrench and Danjo and Sleeves, like, I know Dolio and Randy and I were around for this, but that Raucous era, and, like, Randy and I got to record stuff for Raucous as well. Like, I got picked up by Raucous as, like, a side inclusion toward the end of their winding down. And it's like a little, I'm the Indian guy on the record label. Like, it's like, if there was an Indian sax player on Blue Note, he's kind of like in the back of the sax. Well, for Raucous, I'm like the Indian guy at the back of the stacks, like Mos Def and Talib and Fudge and everyone there at the front, all the way back. If you keep on going through the Raucous archive, toward the end, you'll be able to pick out my record. And I'm so proud that, like, me and Randy and the whole crew got to, like, contribute to that movement. We got to be part of that moment and become, before the window shut, before the door closed, like, we got to become part of the statement that was that era of hip hop culture. And, like, that meant the world to me, Rand. Like, and, like, look, Dan D and JJ, 5G Productions, those guys made that album. Like, without them, like, we wouldn't have what we had. They made my first single that we got pressed up. And, like, those guys were geniuses, and they still are geniuses. They're both, you know, Dan D's at Apple now, helping them with their music algorithms and all that stuff. And JJ's in San Fran, too. Like, it's those guys literally define what genius mode is. And, like, I'm so proud that we got cut from that cloth, you know, and, like, we get to say that, you know, the MCs that are part of this Gangstagrass movement come from a tradition of what this culture means. And it's not something that was fabricated by somebody to prove a point that it could be done. This is what naturally has bloomed out of the culture itself, you know, with Wrench and Danjo and Sleeves inclusion. And, you know, I know Pharaoh's not here, but this is such an organic, this is what a movement is. This, when you say grassroots movement, that nothing else can describe what this emotion is. Like, when we did the video for Freedom, Randy and I went back and forth around the meanings of what the visuals actually should be embraced as for the viewer. And we dissected every lyric, and we went back and forth in a tedious manner for like a month, just to intentionally discuss the trauma and discuss as adults and elders and caretakers of not just the culture, but of our own people. How do we create something that allows the permission to have this conversation around this generational and ancestral trauma, right? And that's what freedom is. And, you know, we've had these conversations, and like, I apologize, Randy, if you don't want to put it out there like that, but like taking it from the back room and like the studio and like those moments of creativity and putting it in front of the audience to embrace, you know, Randy and Dolio are very concerned with like this trauma that's experienced by, and there aren't many Black men in their middle age discussing any of this. And when I listen to your music, it's what Michael Knowles is describing on the latest Questlove podcast about going back and revisiting this trauma as a people and as men who can emotionally carry the weight and the burden of this type of conversation. And what I don't think that the average listener is engaging with is the conversation around No Time for Enemies and In No Time for Enemies, and all of these sentiments that have been scribed deal with just this subject matter. And this album is a monster, and it is like the beginning point of the much larger dynamic. And I've been there. Randy knows I've been there for like the underground hip hop movement. I was there for the Asian underground movement in London. I was there for all the Bollywood stuff with hip hop. Like when it comes to trends of culture and patterns, I recognize this pattern. And No Time for Enemies is the beginning of this very succinct pattern that creates this conversation, this platform that people are looking for right now. And Gangstagrass is the most unlikely of forums that's creating the ability to communicate this message. Like, listen, when I read this Oprah Winfrey book, when I read this that just came out last month, and it's beautiful, it's beautifully written, I hear No Time for Enemies. I hear like it's a companion to what is happening.
Man, I think that's really well said. I mean, that's honestly a huge part of why I'm in this band and have been for such a long time. It's not something I was aware of when I got into it, but just seeing the you know, the lyricism and everything. I mean, these guys are great artists, and that's great, and that's fantastic. But just, yeah, that depth of character, and as you say, the willingness and the ability to have these conversations in a way that is at once emotionally honest and vulnerable, but also somehow productive and shaped and, you know, didactic. I mean, extremely, like, really having the conversation in a productive way and in a helpful way that seeks to bring people forward is a lot to ask of anybody, and it's just phenomenal to get to watch, to let alone be even part of that is a huge honor. And I don't know, it's not the sort of thing I could just pass along a template and just say, like, but part of me feels like, you know, every banjo player ought to be involved with something like this on some level, you know, just to, I don't know, find somebody who's doing something like this, because I do feel like we owe a little bit of a debt, and this is one way that we can, you know, give something back or forward.
And I think everybody here is leading by example, you know, and I agree with you. I don't know that every artist feels that obligation, but I do know that not every artist is part of Gangstagrass. Therefore, I can't have expectations that are above and beyond. Everyone's on a certain vibe, right? So like,
yeah.
It's about your vibration, your frequency, right? And everybody here, again, to revisit a comment I made earlier during the stream, what I'm witnessing is people including you into their dynamic. You are not outwardly trying to go out and aggressively become part of people's dynamic. What's happening now because of your tenacity is that people are viewing what you're doing organically and trying to bring you into their spectrum because they recognize something is happening. They can't describe it because when it's an anomaly, there's no benchmark to compare it by. So, like, you are diggable planets, you are Fujis, you are the unexplained that requires, I don't know, just requires the right love and nurturing that gets you to create output. And you're all thankless contributors to this vibration. I mean, I don't want to go into like my thoughts about the active need for reparations and things of that nature, but I will go into this. Artists are the people who can bring it all home for everybody in a more universal manner. I'm going to say something controversial. So for those of you that will get triggered, turn off your thing. But dude, there's artistry and activism. Not every artist has to be an activist, and not every activist needs to understand art. I believe that the purpose for art sometimes is merely to exist and to shine a light. sometimes activism can become so aggressive, and the current milieu is for everyone to become a raptivist or an activist or whatever. But to me, sometimes you place the art there as a distress beacon. And warning signs and canaries in the coal mine, is it a yellow? Is it a magenta? Whatever color the canary, who cares? It's a canary in the coal mine. We need to understand when there's danger, clear and present. That is the job of the canary. That's why we have the cliche. That's why we have the purpose for having the reference. Music can be a distress beacon and a pleasurable act of consumption at the same time. And the most effective music, the most revolutionary music, like Bob Marley, like the Fugees, like everything I've cited on this stream, the native tongues, everything, you are lulled into a state of consciousness where you believe that you're enjoying it, but when you really, really pay attention to it, you understand what the message being conveyed is. And Gangstagrass achieves that. And I knew nothing about the strain or the variant or the chiba chiba of the bluegrass that Wrench was stitching into the fabric of the Gangstagrass aesthetic. And I have a lot to learn from Wrench, because Wrench is, I call him Dr. Wrench because he's the Dr. Dre of this whole organization. He got his own chronic going on.
Real doctor.
You're not a real doctor, but you play one on TV.
Not a real doctor.
But yeah, like Danjo, I agree. I think what makes you unique is that you're part of this outfit and you're contributing. And there's not many, I think to myself, of all the musicians that I've encountered, because I grew up in Virginia and I was born in North Carolina, and I grew up in a certain type of situation, in a certain culture as a third-party citizen, observing as a fly on the wall. I don't know too many Danjos in my life. I don't know too many Wrenches in my life. I do know Adolio and I do know an Son, like all day long, up and down. And Sleeves, there's only one Sleeves. But that all said, like, mark my words on this stream, there is a Dave Matthews Band, Beastie Boys, Tribe Called Quest. Like, there are very few things that are akin to the movement. And this is a movement. And movements don't tip quickly. They require a lot of plugging away, and that's the part of the process that everyone's in. But the key signifier is, again, from Billboard to AGT to anyone else, like they're trying to pull you into their construct, and you are punk rock. I feel like I'm giving a band therapy session right now in public.
I'm okay with that, though.
You are. I have to jump back though. Like, if that was the controversial thing, like that wasn't controversial. I mean, I get that it does feel like everybody is expected to be a raptivist or like bringing the whole thing together. I understand that there is maybe that expectation, but they totally are separate things, right? They are, and they can be, and they should be, and however anybody, it's like you said, like people are vibrating on in different energies, and like not everybody has to be in Gangstagrass, not everybody should be in Gangstagrass, and that's okay. That's okay. You can do your thing.
Gangstagrass, you can't have Gangstagrass without the word gang. So basically, the gang mentality here is full acceptance. It's full bleed, like, bring it on. Like, this is what America is. And one thing that the people that have been trying to fight hard to bring you into their tiny, teeny, boxed-in dynamic, this is how they know how to make money. And you're watching everybody try to pull you into, here's how we make money. How do we make money with you? Right? And I'm an executive that works with all these types of people, not them specifically, but these types of people. And it's not going to work until you, as a collective, symbiotically feel it's the most organic situation. And what will happen is it will grow as it should from within. And and we're going to watch you guys be successful time and again. And Gangstagrass is its own gang. And with that gang mentality, there's no time for enemies. And so it's a waiting game right now. And I hear there's a mixtape that you guys have. I myself have delivered Grass Connection to Camp Low. They love it.
Yeah, nice.
That means a lot.
Like you
That's
guys,
dope.
you're doing something very special, unique, and keep going blindly, because that's what this is. We're on the Lower East Side of New York in 1978 right now. That's what this is. Like we're there, and they're looking at you and they can't figure out how to place you, and that's good. And your message and this message are one and the same, and that's good. And the world is ready for whatever this is. And Super Manager Sleeves and I are trying to figure out how to create points of amplification.
For my part, I'm really excited to read that book. As some of you know, the very first celebrity I ever met was Oprah Winfrey. I was a little kid in Baltimore, and my dad did picture framing for all the local news people. And he never took me on jobs, but he took me to her house because he said he wanted me to feel what it was like to be in the presence of someone like that. And at the time she was just a little local personality on Baltimore TV, just like many of the people whose houses he went to, but she was special in a way that my dad identified and brought me, and it's one of my earliest childhood memories. So I'm, for that reason alone, really excited to read this book. But that you're saying that message and the Gangstagrass message are all tied together, I can't wait. I'm starting it tonight.
From my observational stance, I think what Dolio and Randy have, it usually takes about a year to bring something to market, right? And inclusive, this book had to be authored, but the ideas are years of development. But it's just, from my observational stance, these sentiments and these feelings and this modality in culture, specifically Black culture, is happening at the same time. There are statements that are happening that are very important that both Dolio and Randy address in the context of the record, which is why it's very, very significant that everything ties together in a moment. And to me, just as a hip hop nerd, as an analyst, as somebody that studies every lyric that I encounter, it couldn't be more clear that what's happening is just, in the Jungian sense, it's being picked out of this collective subconscious and being brought to the forefront. And, Oprah, if you're watching, I think you should have these guys on your podcast. Because
I was going to say, one of us should be talking to Oprah right
She's
now.
probably watching right now.
Yeah, she is.
I mean, she's been known to drop into random podcasts and everything, streams.
Oprah, send some love in the chat. Drop some comments.
Oprah, I've got some homemade curry for Gail. Like, if you want to pass the message along. I mean, I can get Stedman too. I know he likes roast potatoes. I got him. I got an air fryer the other day. We could do this. Tandoori potatoes for Stedman.
Listen, though, how would y'all react if tomorrow was just like, oh yes, this is a Harpo industry? We would just, I would melt.
Well,
Would you?
there's
Turn into juice.
a Dave Chappelle skit that comes to mind.
No Dolio. Bad Dolio. No.
No, he's kidding.
Oh my goodness. But I mean, I know you guys are full of jokes, and I'm very serious in my West Coast pandemic bunker. But that's what a bunker is all about: hunkering down and getting the critical inch of the work done. Guys, I'm honored to be part of this podcast, and I've done a lot of things in my time, but you guys are taking the cake. And I think I think the public that watches this, whether it's in an archive or, you know, whatever, should understand, like, these guys are not asking for any of these accolades. They're just plugging away, creating and going. And like, I'm an analyst in this music industry thing. I contribute as a creative person as well, and I produce and I rap and I do whatever I do and I DJ, whatever it is. But I watch. I'm a spectator in this sport, and I look at the stats, and these guys don't give a damn about any of this, and it's happening. Like, I think somebody had to convince you guys to do America's Got Talent. I know you guys were enthusiastic. Let me walk that back a little bit.
Yeah.
I know
we were enthusiastic once we realized it was real.
Once we realized it was real, but also once we realized that they got it, because I think maybe our main concern, our main reservation was, you aren't going to understand what we're about, and you're going to try to make us do or say something that we're not about, which we would not do, and we would just walk away. And that turned out to not be the case, and we were reassured, I think, every step of the way. So yeah, I mean, kind of to your point, like, yeah, we wanted to make sure it was gonna go a way that we were comfortable with, but we felt like it would, and it did.
I mean, here's the way I see it. I think a Grammy nods in the future. I think with some soundtrack inclusions and Oscar nods in the future, like, I see it all, and it's all because the thing that this is a very unique moment, and the authenticity of how you guys are moving forward collectively, there's not a single thread of inauthentic motion. This is a movement in solidarity with voicing, I'm choosing my words carefully, in voicing the perspectives of every diaspora in America collectively through one focused sound. It's a bomb blast. You guys are like Oppenheimer in the Manhattan Project. You guys are reciting the Gita to me right now. You guys... And it's happening, and it's very difficult for you to understand it's happening while you are the subject of the happening. And that sounds like a horror film gone awry. However,
The subject of the happening.
Well, you're dropping the Oppenheimer references. I mean, but I get you though. I like that. I like that it's anytime you're in a moment and you're able to link it to something greater and either spiritual or psychological or archetypal or Jungian or whatever direction. I mean, it can, like you say, it can be really hard to see a bigger picture even as you're doing it. I mean, you're the one doing it, you know, we're in it, we're part of it. But that can be hard. So we really do appreciate the positive feedback.
listen,
I do want to, before we shut it down, because it's almost 11, I do want to, you kind of skipped over the fact that this dude can rhyme his ass off. And a lot of cats, you know, they get into the whole industry stuff. And this dude right here is probably, is one of my biggest influences in how I write. You know, obviously, you know, going bar for bar with Dolio for the last 10 years, last 20 years, and Lewis, but Cats, I tell Cats every time it comes up, like one of the nicest MCs I know is a 5-foot Indian bull that will serve you on the street. This is a guy that he said, on the road of life, my automotive's to combat fools, whack crews, I make crash like Dave Matthews. He said, the ace I play in situations instead of the jester, recalling nights that I rock crowds better than Ezra. Don't test the kid'll be the advice of Irma Bombeck, bombing my opening acts during sound check. Not yet held as one of the best, but soon to be on the rise like unexpected erections during puberty. Like, I have to let fools, this boy is so nice on the mic.
You know this guy, Ren?
Listen. This dude
But I
is so
mean-
nice in everything that he does. His beats are amazing. You know what I mean? The bars are fantastic. His mindset is wonderful. He's got great taste in furniture. That's why I kept his desk for 20 plus years. And you know, I feel much better about everything when I hear you talk, bro.
Well, here's the thing. No time. I was gonna say like I've graduated to Hindu sage, and no time for like I'm gonna go my big fat Greek wedding on you real quick. You are all Hindu because you have no time for enemies as a Hindu album. It is very, very universally accepting of everything. This is universal. Martin Luther King Jr. had a picture of Gandhi in his wallet. This is why Gangstagrass is Hindu.
Heard it here first, folks.
Yes.
Ladies and gentlemen, Gangstagrass is Hindu. Rocking out with the one Shanti.
Yeah.
My hero, my ace, my dog, my man.
Guys,
50
guys,
Grand
guys.
way, way back.
This is the beginning of a lot. I'm gonna jump in the tour bus with you when you get to the West Coast.
So
Yep, we're really
Me-
excited about that. 24th of September in Mammoth Lakes. So if you're out on the West Coast, come to join us for that outdoor show. It's going to be super cool.
And don't
there's
forget, anybody that's watching that's not a member of the Barnstormers already, to join our super awesome club, gangstagrass.com/barnstormers.
And
Right.
listen. I think this is the time to drop it. So, have you guys announced the next single? Have you got no? Is that Kibosh? Kibosh?
I don't
Sleeves.
know what you're talking
Sleeves.
about. This is so,
Boss.
this
I'm
is so
looking at you.
underground. I don't even know what he's talking about.
Well,
Are we talking
think-
about the single from No Time for Enemies?
yes, yeah. The next. So, the Hindi word for gangster is gunda. So I'm working on some remixes called Gangstagrass, and I'm gonna take y'all to Bollywood.
Sweet.
I'm gonna take Gangstagrass into Bollywood cinema,
That's right.
and me
Gangstagrass
and
is happening.
Sleeves, super manager Sleeves is about to become super vinyl picker Sleeves, because we're gonna play vinyl roulette where Sleeves. So we have this deal that we made on this pandemic walk, where she's watching all the Bollywood gangster movies, and she's gonna curate what soundtrack gets pulled for what song's remix, and we're gonna do some Gangstagrass.
Boom.
You know I'm going back to K3G for one of these. You know that, right? Yeah.
Find all the villains. All the villains.
Yep. I want
That'd be
a
I'm
big
excited
like
about
crash of
this.
thunder when Amitabh Bachchan walks into the room.
Ah,
The
yeah.
whole thing.
I want all of this.
Yes.
See, this is why I fucks with y'all, because we're gonna do this. We're gonna do this.
Yeah.
But my personal dream is when we bring it full circle, and I get Gangstagrass as Gangstagrass licensed into a Bollywood film.
That's what we want.
Would
Yeah.
we have to do all the like classic Bollywood like sound mixing with the like super reverb and like all that high end and the EQ? I gotta talk to you about that sometime, because you could
Yeah.
probably answer some
May
questions.
may we amend have to into get to?
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Please, please.
So all I will say is this: I've been working for Bollywood cinema houses over the last decade, and this is a very real possibility. Like, I think as we all kind of like come together, this is like punk rock and hip hop on the Lower East Side in '78, baby. Like, this is what it is.
I will learn Indian classical singing, and you all know that I will do this.
Yeah, I know you will do it. He will do this.
The new Lata Mangeshkar is Danjo.
Danjo Mangeshkar.
Danjo
Daniel
Mangeshkar.
Mangeshkar. Yes.
It is
Daniel Mangeshkar.
Oh my God! Actually,
I believe you
dude,
can do it. You have
Dude,
the
He'll be on
range.
the joint next week. Daniel Mangeshkar. If it's not on there, you're slipping.
That's right.
Dude,
Daniel Mangeshkar is in the building.
I
write
officially dub you Danjo Mangeshkar.
Oh man, from a Hindu sage and everything. Jeez.
That's your hip hop name.
Oh, man. I'm keeping it.
So we got a lot
Well,
more
thank
for
you.
you,
Yeah, give us a
folks.
step up from what
Yeah.
we've been calling Danjo Coffee Whitener.
Yeah,
Oh,
they've been calling me a lot of
wow.
things. That's a little Canadian reference. They don't call it non-dairy creamer. They just call it coffee whitener.
So we've been calling them coffee for like the past, decade.
years.
Hold up. Blast from the past, 1992, Jungle Fever, you better back up off me because I don't need no cream in my coffee. Who was that? Do you remember that?
That was
Who
that
was
Heavy
that?
D?
No, that was not Heavy D. It was a lesser known artist. Regional, East Coast regional, Mid-Atlantic or Philly. It was not New York. Somewhere between Philly and DC. Shoot. We have this Google machine, but I'm trying to refrain from doing that.
Yeah. I remember what you're talking about, but I don't.
It was a one-hit wonder.
I'm gonna remember that, and I'm gonna send it to you. I'm not looking it up. I'm gonna remember that and send it to you. We got to be out though.
Yeah. Love, guys.
Thank you guys so much for joining us. Everybody's been kicking it with us on all of the various forums and streams and transmissions. The whole YouTube family, Facebook family, everybody on Twitch. Thank y'all very much for joining us. Gangstagrass in the joint Friday night. I'll be here again on Tuesday. Probably my bad. Last Tuesday I was hanging out with my kids. It was my birthday. So, give me a break. But I'll be back next Tuesday. Bars breakdown. In the meantime, Gangstagrass in the joint. Dolio the Sleuth. Sleepy Wonder. Daniel Magurshka. What was it? Magurshka?
Mangeshkar.
Daniel Mangeshka. The Almighty. Rents the Mastermind. Your man, our son, the voice of reason, a.k.a. Check 1 2. We are out like shout. We in the building. Shanti, love you, brother.
Love you guys.
Yo, hang after the sign off.
Hang out for a minute. We'll see y'all later. Peace.
Peace.
Ooh.